Well, it's good to get into another one of these interviews. And today I have with me Ruth Cooke, who works for Christian Aid, an organisation I'm sure many of us know. But Ruth, maybe you just tell us a little bit about what you do there and what does Christian Aid do?
Both good questions. So I have been in Christian Aid just for 6 months, actually. Only moved there in December. So I am still very much learning all that Christian Aid is involved in. And it has been fascinating, actually, to understand the depth of the work. So Christian Aid is committed to fighting poverty and to bringing dignity and equality and justice for all people. And from what I am learning, Christian Aid, we focus on the most vulnerable people, the poorest people in the poorest communities, which I really love. And I think as well, something that I really love is that we are committed to asking the bigger questions. And so I guess that's the difference, isn't it, between charity and justice? So wondering, asking why are people poor? What are the structures that are keeping people poor, that are enabling this? And being part of dismantling those, lobbying and advocacy, so we're looking for big solutions. Yes, we help the individual person who's in need, but we're also looking for these big, complex solutions to the bigger structural problems. Hopefully that makes sense.
Well, I think you've probably educated us all far more than we ever expected to be about the role of Christian Aid, which is super. Throughout this time, and part of the purpose for these video interviews that I'm doing is to see how COVID-19 has impacted organisations that are parachurch organisations, but also how it's impacted their partners across the world and so on. So maybe you could take a wee bit of time just to share with us about how locally it's impacted you as an organisation in Ireland, but also then maybe think of one or two of the areas in the world that Christian Aid serves, and how's COVID impacted all that?
Yeah. So yes, it's a big topic, isn't it? It could take me a while, but I know I'll not try not to take too long. So, well, like many of you, we in Ireland have been under lockdown, so we have been adjusting our ways of working to using these computers a lot, and kind of figure out that new normal, as people talk about. We have Christian Aid Week every year in May, which many of you may be familiar with. You may have been involved in some shape or form in the past, and that's a really big deal for us in Christian Aid Ireland, and where churches and individuals all over the island get involved, whether that's holding a coffee morning in church, having a service, a prayer time, whether it's you going door to door. That's probably a big deal, particularly in Northern Ireland, doing those collections, and we could raise over £500,000 through that. So that has been a massive impact for us, because obviously as soon as lockdown hit, we knew Christian Aid Week had to be different. But it's really important to us, and it's really important to supporters, so we wanted to continue it. So there was a lot of work to try and adjust that and bring it all online, and the way people were able to work. And so lots of churches engaged that way. We got a lot of virtual resources for churches to use and services. Lots of people did online fundraising. We held quizzes, online, and lots of things. So all in, actually, it was really it was an encouraging week. Now there still is a big gap between what we originally wanted to raise, what we have raised, and so we've got to think of new ways now ongoing. And so I think the impact is, over this next year, we know that churches and individuals are going to be struggling more, maybe financially than the past, but as a charity, then what do we do, and how? So we've got to find new ways of raising money and new channels, and we are doing all of those. So that's a lot of for us here. And then we have been obviously getting information from our partners and our country teams around the world, and we're tackling coronavirus in about 23 different countries. It's hit every country that Christian Aid has any kind of presence in. And at the start, the numbers were small for some of the countries that we work in. we were seeing higher numbers in the UK and Ireland. But of course, actually that's starting to flip. The rate of growth of the virus in developing world countries is increasing exponentially. And so a lot of our partners have had to adjust their projects to either directly be about tackling coronavirus or adjusting because they have to work now under lockdown, or they need PPE equipment and that kind of thing. In Nigeria, in some of the refugee camps for internally displaced people, they are thinking about fake news. There's actually a lot of fake news around coronavirus, which is something that I hadn't really considered. People believing that it's just a white person's disease or a rich person's disease. We've got to be educating. A lot of our projects, which are around people who suffer from gender-based violence, domestic violence. Whenever you're under lockdown, if you're already vulnerable, home is not a safe place to be. And so we have projects in Latin America that maybe an app where someone can just press a distress button, so they're not giving anything away. They just have a little button they can press, or ensuring that we have 24-hour helplines for people, that kind of thing. That's been an interesting learning for me, because for us, we think we're on lockdown, it's frustrating, it's a drag, but we're safe. We don't have that extra layer of fear, so that's been interesting. And then we've been keeping a close eye on Cox's Bazar, which is the refugee camps in Bangladesh, where hundreds of thousands of Rohingya people have moved to over the past couple of years. And they've moved out of Myanmar into Bangladesh, and they're all living in these tight quarters. And so coronavirus has hit those camps now and is spreading. And we're doing a lot of work there around ensuring that people have facilities for hand washing, because a lot of people don't have soap or regular running water. Trying to build capacity of healthcare professionals in order to deal with and treat people. Giving out food aid if people can't work, when people can't go out, if they do a job where they get paid at the end of the day or the end of the week, now they're not going to work. What are they going to do? And so actually giving out food parcels, we've been giving out about 40,000 essential food parcels for individuals and families. So that's just a little snapshot of the things that have been going on, some of the challenges. And the thing is, John, with coronavirus, this is where our mind is at the minute and where our media is at. We're hearing a lot about that. The thing is, it is just another challenge on top of other layers of challenges that people in the developing world are facing. We've got locusts in Africa eating crops, and we've just had Cyclone Amphan in Bangladesh as well, which has wiped out hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland and destroyed homes. We have near famine in South Sudan, and so in parts of it, I should say. So I think whilst we are totally focused on coronavirus, actually it's one of many challenges for other people. It's difficult to hear, isn't it? It's quite, even as I'm saying, and I'm aware that for people it can feel a little bit overwhelming, and I don't want people to feel that way. I want people to know that there's something they can do.
And I think that last comment helps with the last bit of the interview as well, because I think it's really important that we avoid the risk of sort of focusing so much on ourselves whenever restrictions ease, that we forget about the wider world, the wider church and so on, or maybe pay homage to it but don't pay attention to it, if I can make that distinction. And so what can we do? How can we help? And obviously these are just ideas and suggestions rather than demands. We appreciate that. But what do you think?
So I think there's a couple of layers to it. It's hard for us to, in the time of uncertainty and challenge that we find ourselves in, sometimes to lift our eyes up a little bit.
That's right.
As you've said. So we can start, I think, by slowly and surely by maybe praying about it, getting a little bit more information. We've developed some prayer resources, which I can send to you, John, that you can pass on. Some of our partners around the world have given us their current prayer requests, so they're things that they really are asking for think about.
Yeah.
That's something. And I think that as we pray more, our hearts expand for people
Yeah.
that we've never met. You know,
Yeah.
we care about people in a refugee camp in Bangladesh in a way we
Right.
might not have before.
Yeah.
I said that Christian Aid seeks big solutions, and we are calling on debt being cancelled of developing
Okay.
world countries, of 77 countries, because we don't want them to be worried about paying these debts whenever they should be focused on helping their people recover from this.
Yeah.
And so there, we have a petition on our website, and again, I can send you the link for people if that you can highlight that, and if people would add their name to that, we'd be really grateful.
Yep.
And lastly, I think if you're able to give, please do. We're really grateful for anybody who is able to put their hand in their pocket, whether it's £5, £50, 100 euros. Sorry.
Yes.
Good catch. We were so grateful, and all of that, you know, Christian Aid is made up of lots of people giving lots of little amounts, and that's the backbone of who we are and what we do. So I just want to say one more thing, if that's okay. A story just came to mind there, because we're all playing our part, you know. We're not going to probably fly out to some of these places I've mentioned and give out food parcels ourselves. We're all thinking about what we have and what we can do, and we're playing our part. And when I was thinking about a lady that I learned about called Razia, who's in one of those refugee camps in Bangladesh. She is a single mom. Her husband was killed in Myanmar, and she's 35. She's the same age as me.
Wow.
And she was working. One of our partners had taught her how to sew, and they were making some things, but she had the idea, like, why don't we actually make face masks, because that's what people need right now. And so they changed their kind of production line, and now they're making face masks, and they've made over 40,000 face masks to help people feel that little bit safer. And so she's in a refugee camp in Bangladesh, but she is playing her part. And how do we do that here, whether in Belfast like I am, or in Donegal like you are? So hope that's encouraging.
Yeah, no, it is, and thank you for taking this time. And look, obviously, this is a brief overview of things.
Not as brief as it should have been, I know.
But it's great to get a taste of it, and look, people can go onto the website and find out more. They could sign up to mail shots and stuff.
CAID.ie.
Okay, CAID.ie. There we go. Well plugged, and God bless you. Thank you, Ruth, and we'll catch up again the next time we're at Arrow. God bless.
We'll do. Great, thank you.